All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Financial Clinic show. And yes, it's a show at the Financial Clinic today. I'm Nikki, and I'm not running the show alone tonight. I have here with me our very own financial clarity coach. Coach D is here, Coach Zare is here, and you already know you're going to have such an amazing time. Perhaps you're coming across our channel for the very first time and you're wondering what the financial clinic is about. The financial clinic is a clinic, yes, a clinic for your finances. So whatever your money or financial diagnosis are, you are covered at the financial clinic where we explore the world of money. Money, and money conversations. Is what we are about at the financial clinic. And if that sounds like a community that you want to be part of, why not give us a thumbs up? Push the notification button for new video alerts and also do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We also like to hear from you. We would love to connect with you. If there are any questions that you have for us, kindly leave them in the comment section and we'll definitely get back to you. Welcome to Financial Clinic. And
Thank you.
it's so good to have you here today, Coach G. Wow, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well. Been a day of work, and we just have to do this.
And finally, we are here. All right. Well, probably you must have seen our thumbnail, the very flyer we shared. It shows money burning. Yeah, the image on that flyer we shared showed money burning. If you didn't look at it, maybe you want to go back and check that. And as dramatic as that image may look or may seem, it's actually speaking to the core of the topic that we're going to be having conversation around today. Wealth killers, debunking common financial myths. Well, you agree with me that we all have financial beliefs. We have beliefs about money. Some of those beliefs are serving us, and there are some of those beliefs that are not serving us. But the truth of the matter is, more often than not, those beliefs are founded, they are rooted on myths. Myths that we've heard, we've assumed, or even things that were taught about money, things we were taught about finances in the past that is no longer relevant, that is no longer true for the financial world that we live in today. And so today, we are going to be talking about what are some of those myths, and of course, the list is inexhaustible. We have, people say stuff like, oh, investment is only for the rich, not me with my small pocket change. No, person wey chop belle full. Now if they go do investment, or waste. Waste is not for me. It's for rich people. How can I waste what I don't even have? Self? It's not for no. Let's talk about something that is for the poor. And we also have things like people also say stuff like the financial when you talk about them going to learn about finances, they're like at 40, at 50. I should not go and sit and somebody will not be teaching me about finances and all of that. Like, they believe that when it comes to financial prudence, and some of them even are of the opinion that with age as you grow, you also become more prudent, in your finances and all of that. That and many more, or those are many more, are some of the things that we're going to be debunking, in today's show. And so, Coach D, when it comes to these word killers, I'm sure that you must have also heard quite a number of them. So, in the moment, which of them is actually, coming to mind, is standing out for you, or which of them is that particular one that anytime it comes to mind, you just want to quickly debunk it?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Coach Nikki. It's good to be here with you this evening. The last time we did this was like in February. And it's going to be another short time today. So the first myth you have already talked about, you mentioned it while you were talking. It's about investing is for the rich. This is one myth that people carry around and say, investing is for the rich. How can I invest anything in this 50K? But the funny thing or the interesting thing is this. Why does the rich invest? That's the question. The rich invest because they know investments can make them richer. Okay?
Yeah.
But the poor does not invest because they don't even know how to be rich. Right? And investment or becoming wealthy, rich for a start, then wealthy is a game of consistency. Now, let me play around with numbers for you. Have you heard about that term called compounding? Okay, or compound. Yeah. Um, Albert Einstein said that compounding is the eighth wonder of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's been acclaimed to say that. But let's do the maths. Let's assume that you decide to save 5,000 naira every month for the next 10 years. Okay, let's say, no, sorry, to invest 5,000 naira every month for the next 10 years at the rate of 10% annual return. And you do that for 10 years. So you keep doing that every month without missing it. If you do that at the end of 10 years, how much will this 5,000 naira be? 5,000 naira will be over a million naira. I think 1,028,000.
Wow. Wow.
Over 10 years. 5,000. As small as it is. Okay? So that means at that point you have added 600,000 naira to that fund, but you now have 400,000. That's about 80% of your savings or your investment. Okay? So, but let's say you want to stretch it more and say, okay, let me do this for 20 years. That's where the magic begins. What happens? 5,000 naira every year for 20 years is a is just 1.2 million naira. So you are investing that one still at the rate of 10% over 20 years. Guess how much you will have? 3.8 million naira. So you have made a profit of 2.6 million naira. Wow. So let's take it a notch higher. It is said that we work for 30 years. After 30 years, you are meant to retire. So you are adding 5,000 naira every month for the next 30 years. So if you do that, you would have added 1.8 million naira to your investment. But guess what would have happened? You will, by that time, you will have 11.4 million naira compounded.
Wow.
So wealth is a game of consistency. And 5,000 naira, like I mentioned, can make you become a millionaire without looking into Ponzi scheme, the next CBS, and all that. I'm not looking for all those things. So it's a game of numbers and a game of time. That's why the rich plays that game. If you want to do it, it is very possible. I always say that there's not much a difference between the life of someone that is earning 45,000 naira, somebody earning 50K. So why not just take 5,000 naira and then begin to compound until I mean, don't need to wait till you have big money in the bank before you start investing. And that's part of what we teach within our network. When in fact, presently, we have free financial coaching for anybody. We are going to leave the links below. You want to just benefit from the content that we are reading out. But before I close on this subject, I'm going to take us to a place in the scriptures. I always say the scripture is the ultimate rule book. In the book of Matthew, chapter 25, and I'm still addressing, I'm earning so small, so little, I can't invest. Now, this is it. The book of Matthew, chapter 25, from verses 14 to 30, is talking about the story of this master who's going on the journey. And then as he was going on the journey, he gave looking at NLT, because that's what I'm going to read this evening. NLT says that he gave bags of silver coins, five to the first one, two to the next one, and then one back to the next one. And then when he went on this journey, came back, the first one that had five, I traded with it and got five bags of silver, making 10. The second one that had two, got two more, and then he had made 100% return on investment. The third one, is the one I'm going to want us to read this evening. So, in the scriptures, Matthew chapter 25, from verses 24, I think I'm going to read 24 to 28. So it says that, then the servant with the one bag of silver came and said, Master, I knew you were a harsh man. And that's one thing about those that are not able to multiply their phone. The economy is hard. Everywhere is tough. Harvesting crops you didn't plant. The rich people are fraudulent.
Yeah.
Even the richest black man, he has connection. You cannot be rich in this country without connection.
Yeah.
I was watching a podcast this afternoon. Was talking about how Gen Zs are going to be making billions. So I mean, don't just say that. It says harvesting crops you didn't plant. Rich people only use people, and gathering crops you didn't cultivate. You know, there's this myth around the fact that for you to be rich, you must be evil. But
Yeah, fraudulent.
I'm wondering if you say that rich people are evil, if they put only poor men on this earth, will there be any development? Okay, so he said, I was afraid I would lose your money. He said, because I don't want to lose money. That's why I'm not investing. The little I'm earning, I should not lose it. He said, so I hid it in the earth. Look, here is your money. That's what he told him.
Yes,
This is your money. Like that. I am a trustworthy person, a person of integrity. At least you didn't come and see that the money is gone. This is your money. But the master replied, you wicked and lazy servant. Why is he calling this guy wicked? The guy said he was afraid. But this is it. When it comes to the scriptures, God or the scriptures do not judge people do not define people based on an incident, but on the personality traits they are shown. So likely this guy was a lazy guy. Someone once said that poor people are lazy. They are mentally lazy. Well, we are still going to come to that because I'm still going to talk about one more myth that will help you upturn it. So if you think that is wrong, meet us on the other side. So he said, I hid it in the okay. So he said, if you knew I harvested crops I didn't plant and gathered crops I didn't cultivate, why didn't you deposit my money in the bank? At least I could have gotten some interest on it. You know the funny thing about money is that, of course, when you keep it, it is dying. And that's what the guy did. That's why the man was angry with it because inflation will eat through it.
Sure.
Then the last thing the man did was, then he ordered, take the money from the servant and give it to the one with 10 bags of silver. So this is the part that was alarming for me when I saw it. The truth is, every money that comes through your hands, through the hand of anybody, either ends up with an investor or has to pass through an investor. That is why investing is the main deal. Let me explain. So you take that 3,000 naira, you go buy, let's say, a pack of biscuits. I don't know how much to say, but pack of biscuits. You buy that pack of biscuits. Once you give the money to that retailer, he gives the money to the wholesaler, he gives the money to the distributor, he gives the money to the producer. So that money has traveled. When it gets to the producer is thinking of how to multiply it. So what does he do? He invests that money, buys a machine from an engineering company. When he buys, so he has invested and grown that money because his capacity has now increased. So he now takes that money. So the machine company now takes that money, use it to sponsor their staff to training. They have invested in their business. Before that money goes on and on and on. It is investors that multiply and grow that money. By the time the money is coming back, now just imagine how much this guy will be able to produce. So guys, investing is for everyone. If you don't know how to play the game, you don't know how to play the game. You can apply for our free financial coaching, and then we will show you a lot of things when you get into our inner circle. Okay, so everybody can invest. Everybody, and it doesn't matter. If you can play the waiting game, you can be consistent, and you know where to put the money, you will eventually become a millionaire.
Wow, 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 wow. That's so profound.
Yeah.
Investment is not just for the rich. And the truth is, I even think that it's even poor people that need investment more than the rich.
Exactly.
It's even poor people
Exactly.
that need investment more than the rich.
Yeah.
Because the rich is already rich. And there's some form of investments or some form of, even might not even be investments, they can actually be committed to maybe some level of capital projects that just generates money from them. Like maybe they have existing businesses or that is theirs, or maybe a partnership and all of that. They can comfortably say they are not investing. Let me not lose money, let me just be, whatever is coming from my business, I will make do with that. But they still are not scared to invest.
My mentor once said the rich has lost millions of naira and he's still getting rich, but the poor has lost nothing and he's
yes,
still
broke. Wow, that's an interesting one. The rich has not lost, the poor has not lost money, yet is broke, and the rich has lost money over and over and over again, yet is rich, is not broke. Wow. And yet increase,
and that we told them,
and yet it tends to poverty. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
So you need to choose.
Yeah.
What exactly? I mean, where are you headed? You want to be rich, you want to be poor, is your choice. You start investing today. Investment is sowing seeds.
Yeah, and both is actually hard.
Yeah.
To be poor is hard.
Yeah.
To also be rich is hard. So choose your hard.
That's profound.
Wow.
That's profound.
Wow.
So, well, I've shared one.
Yeah.
So our viewers want to know which other myths do we have for them today. So
okay. Well, okay, maybe one that is actually maybe topmost of my, there are quite a number of them that are coming to my mind. But one that I really love to talk about is when people say, I'm old enough to handle my money, or I'm old enough to handle money. And usually I can't wrap my head around that particular myth when people say that they are old enough to handle money. And you almost think that financial prudence comes with age. Like financial prudence is age dependent.
Just like wisdom, does wisdom
Like the same way that people say that gray hair, well, of course, it's supposed to maybe show wisdom and all of that. But of course, we have a lot of grown up. Let me not just go, so that it will be like I'm insulting our elders. So when it comes to, so when people say I am old enough to handle money, and the reason why I'm actually talking about this particular one is because I think a few months ago, I had someone, report someone to me.
Okay.
So he actually had issues with his business. The business wasn't going well, like maybe going well is not, the business went down. Okay. And so he was trying to come back up, and he actually went to meet a sister of his to kind of, help him be back on his feet and all. And so this sister of his now gave him some money, like, okay, so go and put this into your business. And the money that sister even gave him was more than what he requested for. And so whilst the sister was giving him that money, I was like, I don't want to hear stories. How much did you ask of? And I've given you triple. So don't come back and don't come back and don't come back and then start telling stories that touch and all of that. And so at the point we're having this conversation, it was like, I don't know why this my sister will give me money to do business with, and yet she's still monitoring my life. And I'm like, oh, okay, so can you throw more light on that? How is this your sister monitoring your life? And then he said, she was asking me how I spent the money. Okay, how is it going? And have I been able to?
The elder brother to the younger sister.
Yes, the elder brother to the younger sister. And so, like, okay, so you have given me money. Don't you believe that I'm old enough? Do you understand? Don't you believe that I'm old enough to handle the money? Why is she now babying me around, asking me, okay, so what's up? How is the business doing and all of that? And in my mind, what was going on in my mind was actually, are you even listening to yourself? Do you understand? Are you really listening to yourself? Because most times when people say these things like, oh, why can't this person just assist me and look away? Why is this person still interested in knowing whether I use the money to do, what I said I wanted to use the money for? But the question that comes to my own mind to ask them is, if you don't want someone to question you about how you're spending your money, why don't you make the money by yourself? Why don't you make the money? You are now saying you are playing the mode card, but for the person to now be wanting you to stay accountable, there must have been a track record of, I'm sure that's not the first time that this person is giving you money. So there must have been a track record of not being able to manage your finances that is now prompting this person to follow up with the conversation. Like, okay, so this time around, I want to see that this person, does it or gets it right. And so now you have a problem with somebody following up on the money that she gave to you. So this person, since he's younger to me, why is she? So obviously, for you to have run your business down, it shows that you are not able to make quality financial decisions. And so
if that money was supposed to, okay, I mean, I'm hooked. Not like the business was run down. I'm hooked. Come on, I mean,
if it was to scale up your business, it's different. I'm sure that you would not have been that interested in. Do you understand? It's not to scale a business, it's to like resurrect the business that's gone down. And so I just want to say to our viewers this evening that financial prudence does not come with age. Financial prudence does not come with age. And what you were taught about finance 10 years time and 20 years time, 10 years ago and 20 years ago might no longer be relevant to the financial world that we live in. And so when it comes to financial prudence, I kind of believe that it is always learning for financial prudence is always evolving. That you learn something about finance in the 80s does not mean that
it is still
relevant. And so it's always important to be given to financial education to know what are the latest updates. What are the new opportunities that I can take advantage of? What are the new businesses or new investment opportunities that are springing up? That if I put my money, it will work smarter. Yeah, it might be that you have other investment opportunities that you can take advantage of, but which investment opportunity that are not scams are delivering better than the existing ones that you know? And that comes with having an open mind, to learning about what is the landscape that I play in. I mean, the financial landscape that I currently play in. What are the set of skills that I need to have to be able to play in this new financial landscape? Even scams are evolving. Scammers, they are strategizing and re-strategizing. What used to, in those days, the kind of scams that people used to, how people used to scam people was quite simple back in the days. But the more that they see that people are getting used to their tactics, their strategies and all of that, they keep evolving their strategies. And that is why the scamming maybe network or business, they continue to thrive because they are always, okay, they figured us out. And what do they do next? They will go and come up with a different strategy. If they can be doing that, what makes you think that, just because you are old? What makes you think that, you don't need to also update your financial knowledge? It's very important because if you want to be able to make more money in the world that we are in, I think it was easier to make money back in the days. Was it?
I don't know. Maybe when I was younger. Maybe. I don't know because.
Or maybe the money you needed to make back in the day was not as much as because a millionaire was okay back in the days. If you were a multi-millionaire back in the days, you are a force to reckon with. But now, multi-millionaire, it doesn't make you. It's millionaires we are hearing. So you can't now want to use the knowledge of 10 years ago to now make that kind of money that you need to make to be able to take to be able to live in this current, financial world that we are in. And so it's very important that we need to keep updating our financial knowledge.
Yeah.
It's not enough to say, oh, I'm 40, I'm 50, I'm 60. It does not come with age. There are some experiences really that comes with age, but financial experience or financial knowledge is not one of those experiences. And so I think it's important for people to know that when it comes to financial prudence, you must be intentionally committed to learning.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Someone once said that financial knowledge is not sexually transmitted. That's why a man can be financially successful and his wife is not financially bankrupt. Neither is it automatically transferred by gene. Yes, your children, gene has a part to play, but there are some modifications that still need to happen. Okay, age is not. They say age is not a number. Age is not financial wisdom.
The age of Methuselah has nothing to do with the wisdom of Solomon.
Exactly.
That's one of the proverbs that I used to hear back in the days.
And that reminds me, we are coming up with an African
proverb series.
I mean, just
African proverbs are keeping you stuck financially.
We are coming out with those series. I mean, watch out for it in the month of June. You will love it. All right, so I mean that takes me to one more myth that I would like to share.
All right.
People say that hard work guarantees financial success. The harder you work,
the more money
you can make. And then you see people that say that, oh, I do this business, do that business, do this business, and all that and all that. They have like 5 businesses and they cannot get a hang of any of them. And they're like, but I should be financially successful. They say hard work. When we're in school, that was one of the things that our lecturers pushed. Hard work. Hard work is the key to financial success. So people believe that hard work is the key to wealth. But this is it. Let me shock you. And the shocking is this, is that hard work is the baseline for financial success. It's the baseline. So it's just like you are running an auto race and then you run past the first auto and you stop there and you say, I have worked hard, I have run, I have overcome the first hurdle. Why am I not the winner? I was the first to overcome the hurdle. And that also takes me to when people talk about age being the reason why they are supposed to be able to be financially successful. And then you see people say things like, oh, because you are the firstborn, your sibling will not, saying certain prayers, your sibling will not, I don't want to speak Yoruba, but he will not be able to finance the family more than you. But it's a matter of just
because that sibling is an elder sibling.
An older because you are older, your sibling and all that. Guys, now this is it. Hard work is the baseline. There are other condiments for financial success. One of them is knowledge. Another knowledge is knowing what to do. Knowing what to do. Skill is another one. Okay, knowing how to do it. Then the last one is leverage. Knowing the tools and the people you need to be able to manifest that dream. So it goes beyond that. These are 4 rudiments or elements that are needed in financial success. Hard work, knowledge, skill, and leverage. Because if you cannot use leverage, you will not pass that stage you are at. Because everybody that is financially successful works hard. You cannot say you are working harder than Dangote.
Definitely.
You cannot say, but the work is different. Now I'm going to read a place in the Bible. Ecclesiastes 10:15. Ecclesiastes 10:15 says that. Okay, I want to read it in the NLT because I just saw the NLT today and then I just fall in love with it. It says, fools are so exhausted by a little work that they can't even find their way home. Some other versions say that the labor of a fool wearieth them.
Every one of
right? Every one of them. Because they know not how to go into the city. Now it says little work. Now this little work is not a comparison to hard work. It didn't say what's the opposite of hard.
Hard.
Okay, soft. It didn't say soft. So that tells you that little work wins them. Because in the ladder of value, there are ranks, there are levels. I got these levels from my own goal. The first level is the implementation level. The implementation level is the level where you work, you exchange your strength, your time,
muscle,
your muscle for money. Okay, that is the implementation level of value. So at this stage, you bring the least value to the table. Unfortunately, but you seem to work harder. Because it is your muscle that is involved. It's just like a business given to a contractor, and then it gets bricklayers. Those are in the people are in the execution, the implementation level, and because they are there, they earn less. Unfortunately, they do everything with all their skill, carry all the parts, carry all the blocks, all their strength, sweating. If you feel their palms,
it's as hard as rock. And the thing
they
is,
must not
and the thing about the people at the implementation level is they are exchanging a limited resources, muscle, your strength, because once you're out of strength, there's nothing you can do. You're tired, you're tired. And they're also exchanging, a limited resources over time. And time is also equally a limited resources.
So now this is it. The Bible says that little work, they are even too tired to go home. By the time they are done, they are even sleeping in the box.
And to think that usually that scripture you read about the labor of the foolish, you read every one of them. I used to actually think of foolish in terms of just someone who is dumb, stupid, and all of that. But when it comes to the foolishness that was being referred to in the Bible, is foolishness that is actually stemming from lack of knowledge. So someone can actually look like, oh, they know what they are doing. You know how they look, because sometimes people are like, do you know how many things I'm doing, how many jobs and all of that? So even people who are in diaspora are not left out. Because this thing is a mindset, and if you have not already cultivated it, it doesn't matter where you are. Even if you travel abroad, it will still be the same rat race, because you find yourself exchanging a limited resources and wanting to get an unlimited resources. How does that even add up?
Exactly. You want you want to be rich, and you're like, oh, yeah, just doing it like a machine. All right, so that's the first level. Most people are here. They work hard. You go to the bank, the teller, and all that. They are that implementation level. Okay. The second level is a unification level. At the unification level, like the name suggests, you unify things, you unify people. These are the supervisors. They earn less than those at the implementation level. Okay, so when you go to, for instance, there is a job on the site, you see the site supervisor shouting, "You go there, you do this." He is that man that is at the unification level. He's making people work. The supervisor in the banking hall is that man or that woman at the unification level, making things work. Yet, he is not earning as a last student. The third level is the communication level. This is where wealth begins to flow.
And I think that's where we're going to hold it on today's episode.
I wanted to go for, but you didn't.
Yes, I'll wait for you to say this is, and then we just hold it there. Okay. And that's where we're going to be holding it, because we are way past time. Oh, wow. Yes, we are way past time. And so this is where we bring it to a close on the Financial Clinic Show. And usually I don't always want us to end, because I already see that you're also in the mood. And we continue this way, 10 p.m. We'll still be here because there's so much juice and all of that. And so we're going to be calling, we're going to be bringing the Financial Clinic Show to a close here. And I don't know when the next one is coming up, but look forward to it. But I also believe that you must have picked one or two things from what we have shared so far.
Yeah.
And so if you're also in the category of the people that we mentioned,
yeah.
the category of I'm not even talking about implementation now. I'm talking about some of those myths that we shared. If you are still one of those people who believe in those myths, at least you know that they are not founded on the truth, right? And so you can also begin to now take steps to maybe reprogram your mind. Let there be a mindset, a mind shifts, and you know that cannot it can't take you forward financially. So you want to do something about it. And like I always say, knowledge is wasted potential if you don't take action. As you're hearing, please make sure to take action to implement, because at the financial clinic, we are not just talk. We are about action, we are about execution and implementation. And until we see you on the next episode of the Financial Clinic Show, this is where we say bye.
Bye.